What is up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy. And welcome to our sister chat post-Christmas.
Post-Christmas, yeah.
Hey, sis.
Oh, hey, Bev.
What's going on, Yvonne?
Oh, just coming down after all the celebrations. Not that they're done because New Year's is coming up.
Yeah, you're going to a nice little party, aren't you?
Yeah, and when you say little, you mean huge.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to that, although I was invited, which was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably be staying home with my child and watching Stranger Things because the final episode is coming out tomorrow, and I can't wait.
Wow. This is so funny to talk about because it's like you're the mom now and I'm childless. And
yes,
although we lead very similar lives because, just who we are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, so different. I'm
Totally.
Going to a New Year's party. You're like, I'm going to, stay home with my babes and watch Stranger Things, maybe eat some popcorn. If we get real radical, we're going to have caramel popcorn. Woo! Being bit by
ordering Chinese food.
Woo!
Oh, well, it is rather thrilling. I mean, when was the last time I had Chinese food? At least a couple months ago. So there it is.
Yeah, totally. Thrilling. Watch out, guys. Bev and Craig getting high on MSGs.
Woo, woo,
Ringing in the new year, bitches.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am excited. So
totally. Also,
there's that.
For the record, my friends Marcy and Mike throw the best parties ever.
Yeah, I mean, they really do know how to throw a party.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Right?
I have been to a couple, and it is a blast.
Yeah. Specifically, Mike's 40th. He DJ'd at his own party along with some other DJ guests.
Yeah.
And it was a backyard rave.
Yeah.
So, not that really any of our listeners care all that much because they don't know Marcy and Mike, but take my word for it. They throw the best parties. Parties you wish you were invited to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, anyone listening can tell Becky's excited.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So our Christmas was pretty great, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. It was pretty good.
Yes, it was.
And my dad stayed with me 2 nights, and I loved every second of it. And yeah, Colson opened all of his presents. And I say opened pretty liberally here. But he did really show a lot of interest with the bike that he got, the small balance bike that Mom got him.
Oh, yeah.
The video of him opening that. Oh my gosh. He's just at the cutest stage right now. And yeah, it was really special to have my first Christmas with him. And yeah.
It was super cute to see him on Christmas.
Yeah. It's just so... Anyways, it was just nice, and I took the cutest Christmas family photo.
Yes.
Now, what no one knows is behind that photo was 30 minutes of preparation of me trying to find the exact perfect angle where my tree and my fireplace looked like the best together. And I took numerous photos. Do I stand? Do I kneel? Do I stand? There's a lot of work that went into that, and the picture turned out fantastic, and I'm just really proud of it myself.
You know what? It is actually so perfect, this photo. I, for a second, literally thought it was AI generated.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, just for a brief moment because I'm oh my God, this so perfect. I was like, what? The lighting was unreal. Everything, knowing how much time you put into it, I'm it shows because I truly thought it wasn't even real.
Yeah, I know. I was
shocked.
literally who needs professional photos? What? I was really happy we got that. And honestly, Colson was had this little side smile in it. It just so happened. I was like, Craig, we should take some more just in case. He's like, why? That's the perfect photo. It's the perfect photo. And all the other ones, his Colson's mouth is just hanging open ah.
I'm Colson.
And then for some reason, we just got this one where he looks adorable. And it was oh, it just worked out. But
amazing. What great memories.
So if you need a Christmas family photo, apparently I'm your gal.
Yeah, call Bev. You know what? In general, Bev takes really good photos. This one just happened to look professionally done, back, her house looks like a backdrop. It's unreal. Like, I'm going to keep saying this. It's just unreal. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, call Bev if you need some help because she is awesome.
Yep.
Hidden talent right there.
There you go.
That's not so hidden anymore.
It's out in the world.
Yeah.
Out
in the world.
Just another reason to,
love Bev.
Feel great about myself.
There you go. Talents.
Well, we hope everyone listening had a wonderful holidays. And for those who celebrate Christmas, we hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And we're going to ring in the new year with this case coming up. So why don't we get on with it?
Yes, Bev. Let's hear what you got to tell us.
All right. So Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III was born on August 23rd, 1995. He was born in Benton Harbor, Michigan, to parents Tyrone Hassel Jr. and LaShonda Jones. He did come from a pretty large and close-knit family, including 7 brothers and 2 sisters, as well as many cousins, aunts, and uncles who stayed involved in each other's lives. Tyrone attended Benton Harbor area schools and graduated with honors in 2013. During high school, he was a member of the Tigers Marching Band, Junior ROTC, and the Kappa League. He was also a star baseball player, and during his senior year, he earned a scholarship to Grand Valley State University in Allendale, Michigan. And of course, his family was incredibly proud of that accomplishment. So Tyrone did continue his education at Grand Valley State University, and there he studied mechanical engineering. On a personal level, Tyrone was jovial and loved having a good time, whether he was playing pool, basketball, baseball, or even just taking care of his dogs. He enjoyed spending time with family and friends and had a true zeal for life. And if you didn't catch on, he is a namesake, and he wore it proudly. He was positive, hardworking, and inspired everyone around him to want to be a better person. Now, by 2015, Tyrone had been in university for about 2 years when he felt called to serve his country. He told his parents he wanted to enlist in the military, and he moved to Fort Carson, Colorado, just south of Colorado Springs, where he began boot camp, and eventually graduated and began his military career. Over the course of his service, Tyrone was awarded the Army Achievement Medal and the German Army Proficiency Badge, accomplishments that made his family, again, extremely proud of him. And while Tyrone was temporarily stationed at Fort Carson, he met a woman named Camilla Martin, who served in the same unit as him, and she seemed to be everything he had ever wanted. They connected quickly, bonding over their shared military experience, their desire to serve their country, and the fact that both of their families were far away. The couple married in 2016, and in February of 2017, they welcomed their first child, a little boy they named Tyrone Hassel IV. So, as you can see, Tyrone really did carry that name proudly, and he even carried on the legacy of his father and grandfather in naming his child. And it was one of the proudest moments of Tyrone's life. At this point in Tyrone's life, he really felt that things just couldn't get any better. He really felt his life was perfect. He had a loving wife, a perfect baby boy, and both he and Camilla had promising military careers. But in early 2018, Tyrone and Camilla's unit had been deployed to South Korea for 9 months. Their deployment dates were staggered as they just had a baby. And while they were away, baby Tyrone was cared for by Tyrone's father and stepmother. Now, although Tyrone loved his job, he deeply missed his son. And even overseas, Tyrone made sure to stay connected. He was using FaceTime several times a day just so the distance didn't quite feel as far. In October 2018, Tyrone ended up returning home and was promoted to sergeant. And as exciting as the promotion was, what mattered most to him was simply being reunited with his son. Eventually, Camilla returned home as well, bringing their family back together once again. At this time, they were relocated to Fort Stewart, Georgia, and were assigned to the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, the 3rd Infantry Division, and Tyrone was promoted to sergeant, as I mentioned. Now, this move came right before the Christmas holidays, and fortunately, both Tyrone and Camilla were granted leave for the holidays. So they decided to go to Benton Harbor, Michigan to visit the Hassel family. And spending the holidays together was amazing. There were family and friends all around, and everyone had the chance to catch up on life. And the celebrations with the Hassel family didn't stop there. On New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2018, Tyrone's family planned a party to celebrate the start of the new year. And that night, Tyrone's stepmother was working the night shift at the hospital and wasn't able to watch baby Tyrone. So because of this, Camilla decided she would stay at Tyrone's father's house with the baby. She seemed perfectly fine with her husband spending the evening out with his family. Around 11 p.m., Camilla texted Tyrone asking if he could stop by with a plate of food since the party was pretty close by. And when Tyrone saw the message, he filled 2 plates, got into his truck, and drove them over to her. He knew he had plenty of time to drop off the food and get back before midnight to celebrate and ring in the new year with his family. So Tyrone arrived and gave Camilla the food. And after talking briefly, he headed back towards his truck. However, before he even had the chance to leave the driveway, Camilla heard multiple gunshots outside. She ran out of the house and saw Tyrone laying on the ground, clearly wounded. So at 11:05 p.m., Camilla called 911 and told the operator that her husband had been shot and needed help immediately. Tyrone was not breathing. And when police arrived, they found Camilla distraught, holding Tyrone, who appeared unresponsive. Soon after that, the paramedics finally got to the scene. And while assessing Tyrone, they were able to detect a faint pulse, which led to an urgent effort to get him to the hospital as quickly as possible, as there was still a chance that he could survive. And as the ambulance was preparing to leave, Camilla attempted to get inside, as seen on body camera footage, but she was stopped and remained at the scenes with the detective. Tyrone ended up getting taken to the same hospital where his stepmother was working that night. And when he arrived, she obviously recognized him immediately. Everyone involved did everything they could to save Tyrone's life, but his injuries ended up just being too severe. He had been shot a total of 5 times, and one of those shots was directly to the head. And he passed away by the time they reached the hospital. Now, back at the crime scene, Tyrone's family was obviously devastated and confused. Like, how could something like this happen? He hadn't even planned on going out. He was only bringing food to Camilla. Was this attack random? Was it a crime of opportunity, a robbery gone wrong? Or could it all have been planned? So obviously the detectives need to get to work in analyzing the crime scene to figure out what the hell happened. Because it kind of seems, to have happened just like out of the blue, totally randomly. But that being said, the detectives did find the scene kind of unusual. So the driveway where Tyrone was found contained multiple 9mm shell casings, which indicated that the suspect had approached Tyrone closely.
So that means the killer got right up close and personal to him, and the shell casings were on the driveway near his body.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's why it would indicate that, because if he was pretty far away, you probably wouldn't be able to find the shell casings.
Yeah, or you'd have to go searching through the bushes or wherever. But,
or the road.
Right?
Even.
But in our experience, Bev, it's kind of weird. Because you know how before it's well, how could this have happened? Was it a chance encounter? Was it an accident?
Yeah.
Being up so close and personal, as we've seen in the past, usually indicates someone and maybe.
Or an intent to actually harm Tyrone specifically.
Yeah.
Not just a random encounter, right?
Exactly.
Almost like an execution.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I hope and I pray that Camilla was not responsible for this and that, bringing him dinner was not a whole ruse. But we will see shortly. So, let's get into it. Because both Camilla and Tyrone's father told detectives that Tyrone didn't have any enemies in Michigan or Georgia. He was well-liked everywhere he went. So investigators initially wondered if someone had intended to rob the home and was interrupted when Tyrone walked outside, causing the situation to escalate. Tyrone's father knew his son did have cash on him and asked detectives to check his pockets. But everything was still there, including his phone. Tyrone's truck was still outside with the keys in it, and nothing appeared to be taken, so robbery did seem less likely. Detectives also explored whether the incident could have been a case of mistaken identity, because recently Tyrone's stepbrother had been involved in a situation over a stolen phone, which created some tension with others. So, like, maybe this person meant to harm the stepbrother.
Yeah, and thought Tyrone was him.
Yes, exactly. But police confirmed that the phone had since been returned and that the individuals involved were out of town on that night. Now, while searching the scene, the team did find a fresh shoe print near the area, and so they preserved it. A canine unit was brought in, and the dog picked up a scent and followed it down the street, across the road, and into the driveway of a vacant house that was up for sale. So investigators considered whether the suspect may have parked there. A neighbor across the street later told detectives they had seen a dark car parked outside the vacant home that night. They recalled seeing a man reach into the back seat and get out of the vehicle, and shortly after that they heard gunshots, followed by the sound of tires squealing. So I guess their theory that the unsub parked close to that vacant house kind of seems like it now is corroborated a little bit with witness.
And it definitely sounds planned.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously if you have a getaway car and, like, you bring a gun to a scene, like, you walked over to that driveway, intentionally shot that person, and then, like, ran back and squealed away. So the question then becomes, like, who would have wanted Tyrone dead?
Who? Exactly.
Now, what was kind of interesting is that about 5 hours after this incident, another shooting was actually reported, and investigators briefly wondered whether the two incidents were connected. However, they quickly determined the second incident stemmed from an argument at a different New Year's Eve party and was completely unrelated. So at least they leave that initial, like, scene with some information and at least a theory to go off of.
Yeah, they're not just, like, absolutely confused. That must be the worst part about being, like, a detective, is, like, seeing all the evidence or lack thereof and being like, oh God, where do we go next?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So once the crime scene was cleared, Tyrone's family obviously is remaining on high alert. They feared the person responsible might return, especially worrying about Camilla and baby Tyrone. The family watched over them constantly, and Tyrone's father was so concerned that he kept them away from both windows and doors inside the house and would personally escort them if they needed to go outside. Which I gotta say is, like, a really commendable thing. It seems like he comes from a really upright, respectable family. You can see the empathy and the care for their people. You know what I mean? Like, their daughter-in-law and their grandchild.
Oh, yeah, like, they're not letting anything happen to them, assuming they can control the situation, right?
Absolutely. So, just a couple days after Tyrone passes away, on January 3rd, now 2019, the family held a vigil for Tyrone III. The date also happened to be Camilla's birthday, and so she wrote on Facebook, "My baby loved me. I owe you another baby. We needed a girl, and I wish I was dreaming, man. I'm trying not to blame myself. # RIP to my baby."
I'm just throwing it out there. If, like, Jamie died and I made a Facebook post, which, okay, is not out of the question. Lots of people make posts about all emotions. I just feel, like, weird about the hashtag.
Rest in peace to my baby.
Yeah, like, just even having a hashtag.
I mean, yeah, I can see your point there. Because, like, a hashtag is supposed to draw people into your post, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be something people can search up and then they see your post. So it's supposed to, like, extend the reach, isn't it not? Like, that's kind of what it's been used for on social media.
Yeah. It's so, like, to just, put one about, like, I don't know, like, a death post basically about your partner is just, the hashtag is weird, right? Like, are you trying to gain sympathy and attention for losing your husband?
I mean, listen, that didn't even stand out to me initially, but I can see where you're coming from 100% because I usually say it in a joking way, like, Becky does something stupid, let's just say, because, like,
what,
and
Bev?
I'm like, Yeah. Oh, there goes Becky. Hashtag stupid. Hashtag stupid as fuck. Like I say it in a joking way.
Yeah, it's like for comedic effect, right?
When you use it in like everyday language and like posts is to kind of, get more attention to your post. So I can see why you kind of feel weird about that.
Yeah, something hashtag rip to my baby. Like, I could see that being like if you crash your car, hashtag rip to my baby.
Yeah.
Or, you crash your bike. I probably could have used this hashtag at some point.
Yeah.
But like for a real person, it just seems like it's not funny, but like oddly comedic and attention seeking.
Yeah. No, I can absolutely see your point on that one. And I think it's a good one to make for sure.
And maybe I'm reading into that way too much. Maybe she was just like social media fluent. And that's just or fluid, and that's what she did. So I don't want to judge anyone too harshly because maybe people do that. I just feel it just doesn't sit right with me. That's all I'm saying.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Thank you.
And I thought it was an interesting point. So hashtag not stupid. Sorry.
Wow.
I just had to say that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so initially in this whole investigation, police had several leads to follow, actually, but one after another, they ended up just turning into dead ends, which was incredibly frustrating for investigators and pretty heartbreaking for Tyrone's family. Everyone continued to hope that the killer would be caught before Tyrone's funeral on January 11th.
Which, keep in mind, is not actually that long after he was murdered.
Yeah, but the longer it goes, the colder the case gets. So I can see why they're hopeful of that.
For sure.
And maybe their hope sparked something in the investigation. Like, I have no idea. But on January 10th, investigators received a tip from Georgia. And the caller told them they should look into Tyrone's wife and her boyfriend, a man who worked in her unit. Now, detectives were surprised to receive this tip because Camilla truly appeared to be heartbroken over the death of her husband. So these were pretty serious accusations. So they decided to look into them. But they didn't want to alarm Tyrone's family until they had more information.
That is understandable.
So back at Fort Stewart, Georgia, investigators began interviewing soldiers who knew Camilla and Tyrone. And one officer told them that Camilla was having an affair with a soldier within her unit. So this was now the second time that the affair had been mentioned. And the man that was involved with Camilla was 25-year-old Jeremy Quaylar. The affair had started when all three of them were stationed in South Korea. And many officers knew about the relationship, but somehow it had completely remained a secret from Tyrone. God, that would just suck. You're getting cheated on and a lot of people around you know, but you yourself are just oblivious to the fact.
Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking the same thing. I would feel like such a fucking joke. Like, even though I'm not even the one doing anything wrong. It would be like, so everyone knew except me?
Yeah, totally. And no one thought to inform me at all. Like, I think that's insulting. And maybe they thought it was none of their business, which I can also see. But at the same time, it would feel pretty shitty,
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking that late night dinner request wasn't so innocent.
That's right. Doesn't feel that way.
If this goes where I think it's going to go, I'm getting emotional, Becky, because I don't know, just the way you described Tyrone, and maybe the way his friends and family described him, and how he just was so excited to get home to his son, and how he did bring Camilla dinner late at night. I don't know that every man would do that, it's just so thoughtful and sweet. And maybe that's just what it is, and I'm really realizing that this guy who was murdered was a really nice guy. And if it was at the hands of his own wife, I just feel, I don't know, it's probably pretty, it's the biggest betrayal. And I feel really sad about that for Tyrone.
Yeah.
So, although it's seeming that way, I will continue on and we will figure out for sure. So, we know Camilla is a cheater.
Yes. That is what we do know.
Yeah, we know that. And investigators find out some more information. So they learned that on January 8th, just 8 days after Tyrone was killed, his military unit held a debriefing about his death. Apparently, after the meeting, Jeremy bragged to another officer that he had watched the Hassel residence and killed Tyrone. He claimed he did what he had to do and said he made sure Tyrone did not survive.
Okay, so he's an evil bitch?
Yeah.
Who admits that?
That's one cocky person to admit that you just committed murder and be like proud of it. Did what I have to do, made sure that that guy did not survive. Like, no remorse.
It's like
at all.
Oh yeah, like none. And also, it's like the number one rule, just like Fight Club. You don't talk about it unless you want to
true.
get caught. Like, to be clear, I'm not suggesting that we don't want to catch this mofo. We want to catch him. He's bad. But if you're trying to get away with murder, why would you say anything to anyone?
Yeah, well, it honestly speaks to his arrogance and, like I said, his cocky
nature,
I guess. Yeah. Because, that's just sickening to admit to it, to do it. But also, you're right, Becky. He'd be #stupid as fuck.
Yes, I agree.
So another soldier ended up coming forward throughout all of this and told investigators that Jeremy claimed he and Camilla had planned to kill Tyrone during the holiday trip. According to this witness, Jeremy said he would either shoot Tyrone himself or hire someone to do it. The question is, why didn't this person come forward earlier? Because obviously this person had information that a potential murder was being planned, and they said nothing. So you either assume that they're malicious and kind of didn't give a shit that Tyrone, would get murdered, or probably the more likely option, you can probably assume that this threat that this person heard wasn't taken too seriously and maybe just thought Jeremy was talking out of his ass or something, so didn't think it was a real potential
threat,
which at least I would hope for, because...
You know what? I honestly, and when Axel was in the military, our brother, they seemed like everyone was so close, and it's like these people have your back. So I would also probably agree that this soldier just didn't take it seriously. It was probably this guy's a dum-dum. He's talking out his ass. He's he obviously wants Tyrone out of the picture because he's having an affair, right? He probably is just what a douche. Who says that? And just didn't think two thoughts about it.
But I will say this to everyone listening, and if anyone comes to you and suggests that they're planning a murder, it doesn't matter if it's serious or not. It does not matter. Maybe go to the police or let the person know, hey, I'm not, I don't know what you would do. I mean, it's an awkward social situation in that respect, to be your friend coming to you with this information and to be I'm going to tell the cops on you. That's so, I don't know, taboo, I guess. It's you don't want to be that person, right? But maybe we should be that person.
They say snitches get stitches. But yeah, maybe everyone should be that person. Although, you know what, Bev? Most people are not approached by their friend or coworker with this type of statement.
Yeah, I feel
it's not normal.
There's the typical statement that I've heard or that I've used out of just frustration is ugh, I'm going to kill that person. Where you're obviously not being serious, at all. You're just frustrated. But when someone comes to you and says, we have a plan to do this, and if I'm going to shoot him myself or I'm going to get someone else to, that kind of seems a little bit more
serious.
Yeah, with maybe a little bit more intent behind the words. And I just feel if anyone comes to you saying that kind of shit, say something, because you could save a life.
Yeah, we're not blaming that soldier who didn't do anything about it, but let it be a learning experience. If someone says something a little more serious like that, maybe question them a bit, ask some probing questions, and go to the police.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, it might be nothing, but let's err on the side of caution.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, it is a pretty weird social situation to have someone say that. And obviously you question the intent, but it might be good practice to just start bringing that kind of shit to the police just in case.
Yeah.
So now, after hearing this tip, and actually multiple tips and interviews with different officers and soldiers and whatnot, the police learned that there was a potential affair, most likely, and a murder plot that was taking place. So they decide they need to go speak to Camilla directly. They called Tyrone's father and asked if he and Camilla could come to the station and bring their cell phones with them. Because at that time, Camilla and her son were staying in Michigan with Tyrone's father and stepmother. So they all went to the station, but investigators had mainly asked Tyrone's father to bring Camilla there. Once she arrived, Tyrone's father was told he could go home and rest, as Camilla would be there for a while.
In my mind, I just picture the cops being like, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Got an important
Go put your feet up.
Yeah.
Go put your feet up.
It's going to take some time.
Well, they mean business.
They do.
So the detectives did question Camilla about the alleged affair and murder plan, and she denied everything. She claimed Jeremy was simply someone she worked with and said she had no idea why anyone would make such claims. So this raised suspicion, like why would multiple people report the same thing without reason?
Yeah.
So police asked Camilla if she would take a polygraph test, and she agreed. And she freaking bombed it.
Of course she did.
She failed the test significantly. And so when she was confronted with the results, she eventually stopped denying the accusations. She told investigators that she planned for Jeremy to kill Tyrone so she could collect his military benefits and then be with Jeremy. Apparently, Camilla was unhappy in her marriage and claimed that Tyrone didn't give her enough attention. She said that he was a quote-unquote workaholic and didn't spend enough time at home. She explained that they began plotting Tyrone's death in April 2018 while still in Korea. Camilla sent Jeremy a message saying, "We can be together if my husband is out of the picture." And with that message, the plan began. It was from that point on, Camilla and Jeremy communicated in person and used Snapchat to make the plan. Police later determined that Camilla deleted her Snapchat around January 2nd, 2019. So just a day before the vigil and like 2 days after the murder.
She's like, let's get rid of this evidence.
Yep. Don't want nothing to be tied to me.
Also, I just don't understand people, Bev. Like when you hear cases like this,
yeah,
it's like, oh, your husband works a lot. He's progressing in his career. He just got an awesome like promotion. You guys just had a baby. He's clearly a present father. As you know, Bev, once you have a baby, the first couple months, like it's all about the baby.
Oh my God, is it ever?
You know, and like even probably up to the first couple years, you have to prioritize a relationship for sure, but that whole dynamic changes. So
you live and breathe for the baby.
Right?
That is what it is.
And like they're trying to balance good, demanding jobs, a young child, a marriage. Like give the man a little bit of grace. Like he obviously seems like a good person. So like how is that like the motive for murder?
Well, see, that is an interesting thing that you say right there, because the moment I read it, I was like, that's just some bullshit. That's just her justifications for doing what she did. That is not the reason at all. The reason was to take his military benefits and be with the man she was fucking.
Yeah.
To be crass, sorry. But seriously, like it's just so often we see people who commit terrible murders and they just find a way to justify their actions so they don't have to deal with the fact that they're just a shitty fucking person. And that's what I think we're seeing here, because you're right, Becky, it doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, I didn't get enough attention, so I'm going to murder this person? Fuck off.
Yeah, like literally just divorce. Like, yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So she was a greedy bitch. She wanted those military benefits.
And keep boning her side piece.
Yeah, like that's what it is. So.
Rude.
Disgusting.
So
we'll get back to kind of what the investigators found out about all of this. And that was that while planning, Camilla and Jeremy realized they could not kill Tyrone in South Korea or at Fort Stewart where they lived because apparently it would be too obvious. So when the Hassel family decided to go to Michigan for the holidays, Camilla and Jeremy saw it as just a perfect opportunity.
It's like 14-hour drive away. Like, what?
It's not the location that gives you away. It's the dynamics, the personal dynamics and your cheating ways that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just seems a little bit naive to think that the location is what will I don't know. Like,
this will hide our crime.
Yeah, keep it a secret.
Yes.
So apparently Jeremy drove from Fort Stewart to Chicago and then to Benton Harbor to carry out the killing. Disturbingly, Jeremy had been in the area the entire time Tyrone and Camilla were there. Between December 19th and December 31st, he watched Tyrone on 4 separate occasions, just waiting for the right moment. Apparently, one attempt was earlier on December 31st when Tyrone was returning from Walmart, but someone else was with him, so Jeremy backed out. Camilla was upset because the family would soon leave Michigan and the opportunity would be gone. So she came up with a plan to lure Tyrone back to his father's home with food so Jeremy could finish what they had planned. She sent Jeremy a message saying, "He's coming home with food shortly. Get it done now." Jeremy reportedly hesitated, but according to Camilla, she pressured him to go through with it. As well, Camilla admitted she did not go outside immediately after the gunfire, that she waited a bit before going outside and calling 911.
She's like, let's just let him bleed out just in case.
Yeah.
Make sure he's dead.
Now, in this instance, she is not the one who fired the gun, but she is the one who killed him. In addition to Jeremy, right? Like, you can clearly see, like, her intentions and her actions that night equally contributed to Tyrone's death. It was not just the gunshots themselves. So, like, in my eyes, her actions constitute as first-degree murder, regardless of whether she held the murder weapon or not. Now, around 10 p.m. on January 10th, Camilla Hassel was arrested and charged with first-degree premeditated murder. Boom! At the same time, Jeremy was arrested at his home in Georgia. Officers reportedly found him just after he stepped out of the shower, and he was taken into custody wearing only a towel. And he was also charged with first-degree premeditated murder. Hell yeah! Now, interestingly, while all of this was happening, Tyrone's family still had no idea that Camilla had confessed. So the next day, January 11th, as the Hassel family prepared for Tyrone's funeral, they were wondering, like, where Camilla? Like, where is she? Before the funeral, they received a call from the lead detective, and he told them the killer had been identified and arrested. When they learned it was Camilla, everyone was shocked. They would have never guessed that she would have done something like this or even was capable of doing such a thing. That also must feel like, I don't know, just a huge form of betrayal. Like,
they mourned with her like the last 10 days in their home.
Protected her.
Even
thinking that she was at risk of harm.
Yeah. Like, I think at that moment, if I heard that, obviously, at first you're probably like, yes, thank God you caught this asshole, right? But then after you're like, sorry, could you say that name again?
Yeah.
Because you're just like, no, I think I heard you incorrectly. There's no way. And you heard that, you're like, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
That little witch.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be so mad.
And something that obviously we haven't said out loud, but is kind of obvious, is that Tyrone IV, little baby Tyrone, has lost and will lose both of his parents in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks time. That in and of itself is just devastating as well. Like, this is just such a sad case. Like, everyone lost. I mean, everyone always kind of loses in murder cases, but like, there's a baby involved, and that baby, now grows up without both of his parents present in his life.
Yeah. It's like there's the crime, and that's obviously sad and horrific and terrible, but the aftermath of these children within these crimes that we talk about is so heartbreaking because they're so innocent and they lose both parents, and that can have huge ramifications as they grow up, not having parents. Some get put in the system, and they only have like either their few memories or what their other family members have to say about their parents, right?
Yeah.
So
it's devastating.
It's not ideal.
And in this case, baby Tyrone knows that his mother was a murderer. Luckily, I would say that Tyrone's family seems fantastic. And at least the baby will have them.
Yeah.
So 4 days after her confession, Camilla was arraigned. The arraignment is the formal reading of charges and rights before a plea is entered. When going through her arraignment, Camilla showed little concern, and when asked if she had read her rights, she replied, "I read some of it." Her bond was set at $2.5 million, but she could not afford it, and so she remained in jail. She pled not guilty to all of her charges. The following day, Jeremy was arraigned as well. He also pleaded not guilty and could not afford bond. He was ordered to be extradited back to Michigan where the crime occurred. A month later, in February, Tyrone IV celebrated his second birthday without either of his parents.
Uh-oh, Bev's about to cry.
I'm sorry, it's just so sad.
I know, he's so young.
Just so sad.
He's so young.
Yeah, it's just so sad. Like, I think of, like, Coulson and how, like, he really prefers his parents and how much kids, like, love their mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so young, it would be hard to, like, understand why you couldn't have that. It would be so sad. So Camilla's just selfish. Selfish as fuck.
For sure.
That makes me mad.
It also makes you just wonder, like, what were you thinking when you chose to do this? Like, did you truly think that you were smarter than the police and could get away with this and you would go live your happy ever after with Jeremy and your baby? Like, nothing ever happened? And $400,000 richer? Like, did you actually? I mean, she must have if she went through with it, but, like, clearly the theme of our podcast today is stupid people.
Yeah, stupid as fuck.
Like, I just don't get it. And I'm sorry. You're so sad, Bev.
I'm sorry. It just, like, makes me feel sad. That's all. I just think of the baby. It's just, and, like, hearing how much Tyrone loved. And I know Craig loves Coulson so much. And it just, like, it just makes me so sad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I gotta get my shit together here. All right. So Camilla's trial came pretty quickly. And by July 15th of that year, she was in court. The fast timeline was likely due to the strength of the evidence, especially her confession. Now, the defense argued that she had been coerced, but the prosecution presented a recorded jailhouse conversation between Camilla and her mother, and in the call, Camilla told her mother she had started planning the killing in Korea, though she claimed Jeremy pushed her into it. Her mother was stunned and asked if someone was forcing her to say these things, but Camilla said no. Obviously, her mom is like, there's no way you could be, like, you could do this. Like, her mom's probably just as shocked as, like, anyone that, like, her daughter was capable of such a horrific act, right?
Yeah. She's like, please tell me you're lying when you're saying this or someone's, like forcing you. And she's like, nah, it was me. I am that way. I am terrible.
Yep. Exactly. So with two separate admissions, one to police and one in a private conversation with her mom, the coercion argument truly just collapsed in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the trial lasted only 3 days, and the jury deliberated for just an hour before returning a guilty verdict. And at her sentencing, Camilla chose not to address the court or Tyrone's family. Cowardly, Becky. So Tyrone's father told her, Tyrone was something to everyone he met, but to you he was expendable. He was a check, a $400,000 check. His mother said, I hope every time you close your eyes, my son taps you on your shoulder and smiles, just to remind you his life is not over. He is still living in God, and you will be living in hell until the day you die. Woo!
I feel like those are the comments I love to hear in these cases. Because, like, I understand, like, complete, like, rage and, like, complete, like, sadness when people make those statements. But when it's, like they just say something that, like, hits home, like, he was expendable to you. He was just a check. Like, they say it like you're so pathetic, you know?
Yeah, it's like you couldn't see what everyone else saw was that he was this great person. Like, that was, like, you suck.
Yeah. Like, you
and
are pathetic.
I like that the mom was just like, he's still living. Like, you couldn't take him completely. Like, our faith holds us together and gives us faith that our son is in a special place. And yeah, your decisions will not allow you to get there. Sorry,
you suck. Yeah.
So Camilla was sentenced to life in prison with 320 days of time served.
Because that matters, right?
Right? The judge told her, the road to redemption is long and arduous, and you will spend the rest of your life walking it.
Ooh.
After Camilla received her sentence, Jeremy reconsidered his not guilty plea. Investigators had gathered significant evidence. Several 9mm bullets were found in the front and back seat of his black Chevy Impala. There was also a 9mm magazine found on the floor behind the passenger seat. At Jeremy's house, police found evidence he had recently activated a new iPhone, and there was paperwork showing he bought 2 firearms from another soldier, one in October, when Tyrone returned from Korea, and one in December, obviously the month that Tyrone was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
The 9mm gun used in Tyrone's killing was never recovered, but the police also found evidence from a license plate reader on a patrol car in Benton Harbor that scanned Jeremy's license plate within 3 hours of Tyrone's death. So they know he was there.
Yeah.
On July 29th of that same year, Jeremy pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 65 to 90 years in prison. At sentencing, Tyrone's mother told him, "All of this for my son's body. You could have had his house, his wife, and helped raise his son, but you could never be him. He was better than you, and he still is. Because of the kind of person he is, his name will live on."
Man, Tyrone's mother is just like, if I was the, like, criminal, those would haunt me, her statements. Like, be
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was a good person. I am nothing.
Oh, totally. Apparently, Tyrone's mom said also in her statement to Jeremy that she had to watch videos of Tyrone just to hear his voice again, and hearing this made Jeremy break down in tears. Jeremy chose to address Tyrone's family, saying, "I want to apologize to the family again sincerely. I was a fool for just taking her words and not really looking to see who he was. I also want to apologize to the army. It was the best thing that happened to me. It was stupid, and that's not me at all. I was raised right. I just had issues within my own demons. I know we all do. But she was telling me. I opened up to her, and she played on it. I shouldn't have opened up to her. I was a fool for trusting her."
That actually makes me sad too, Bevy. Not because I mean, like, to some degree, very small degree, I do feel bad for Jeremy because I think
he was manipulated?
Yes, I do. And I know he did something wrong and he deserves all the consequences he gets, like, for sure.
Of course.
But, like, his life is also ruined, yes, by his choice, but by this huge manipulation factor. And he probably wouldn't be in jail right now and have murdered anyone without her influence. And that makes me sad that she ruined so many lives. Like, she is the root of all this evil.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I do know. I think there's a difference between doing an evil thing and being like an evil person.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people make bad decisions, terrible decisions, very costly decisions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that at their core and their heart, they're this evil, terrible person. If he can acknowledge the wrong he did, I do feel a little bit of empathy for someone that has that type of self-awareness and that remorse, because I just do. But someone like her who didn't even address his family, didn't even say anything to them, like, you know, she's not really guilty. Like, you know, she's kind of just a crap person to her core. So, yeah, I think there's a difference between someone who has that remorse and someone who just doesn't, you know?
For sure. And so, I mean, to be honest, at least he cried.
At least he apologized, too, like, sincerely as well, you know?
Yeah.
So apparently, Jeremy also chose to have a conversation with Tyrone's father, and he once again apologized, and Jeremy admitted to attempting the killing 6 different times and explained that Camilla's rejection on the night of the murder pushed him to go through with it. According to Tyrone Jr., Jeremy said he was angry because he hadn't seen his own family in a year, yet Camilla convinced him to travel across the country for the purpose of killing Tyrone, and then didn't want to see him. Jeremy said this anger is what drove him to carry out the plan after so many previous attempts. It is also what drove him to shoot Tyrone so many times.
So remember, he was shot 5 times, and it's all, like, up close and personal. So obviously, remember we said there was some, like, rage, it was personal. That clearly, like, when he says that, it all makes sense. Like, he was just pissed that he was having to do this. He was kind of being forced by apparently the love of his life. And so he's just like, fuck it. Getting this over with. Like, I'm pissed. I can't see my family. She won't see me. Bam, 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 bam. Like, just so angry. Like, it makes me sad that he was just pushed to these limits. And so many lives were just ruined. especially Tyrone's and his son's.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say his son's life is ruined. It is not ruined, but there will always be a small piece missing.
Totally. And now, even in saying all of this, like, although we can understand potentially and empathize with the manipulation factor that Jeremy went through, he obviously did choose to do this. Like, there's got to be something inside of him that made him capable of even kind of going through with this. So even though we have empathy for his situation, like, by no means are we condoning what he did. He is responsible for it, and he should absolutely feel the weight of spending his life in prison because he took somebody's life, and that's just like not okay any way you slice it.
For sure.
So he could have turned back many, many times, and he didn't. Like, he knew he was killing somebody.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even though there's that manipulation factor, like, that's like the most severe thing you can probably do is end someone else's life. So like the fact that he didn't just turn around and leave, it kind of speaks to something. Like he said, he was dealing with his own demons inside. So he's not just this good person that got manipulated, like, completely. Like, you know, he obviously was capable of something so heinous. And so...
Right, because the majority of people would have been like, you're fucking mental, Camilla. I'm not killing anyone for you. Like, the fact that you brought it up, I'm actually going to go to the police. You know, like, he had like, what, 8-9 months of opportunities to go to the police and not let this happen.
And exactly, Becky. And he did. So there's that. And it kind of gets a little bit more hairy when you think of the fact that in 2020, Jeremy actually attempted to withdraw his guilty plea. It was ultimately denied, but this felt like a punch to the gut for Tyrone's father because he truly felt Jeremy had pled guilty because he had a conscience and that it was the right thing to do. But now he's actually rethinking that motive entirely. Was that just like what you were saying, to manipulate the situation to gain sympathy from the judge, right? So it's kind of hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, Camilla is housed at the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Pittsfield Charter Township, Michigan. She is currently claiming she was the victim of battered woman syndrome and is hoping to get a new trial.
Oh, I hate her.
Tyrone's father, Tyrone Jr., denies that his son was ever violent toward anyone, especially his wife. Now, without any parent to provide for him, Tyrone IV is currently living with Camilla's mother.
Okay, maybe this makes me sound really terrible. And maybe Camilla's mother is a wonderful woman. And if she is, I don't want to take that from her. So I kind of feel bad for thinking this. But it just feels like kind of wrong. Because that means that, like, Camilla will still see her son. Like, she's a horrible murderer. Like, I don't know, maybe, you know, I am obviously very conflicted saying this, but, like, it makes me sad that he is not with Tyrone's family.
It makes me sad too.
And I don't know if that makes me, like, bad for thinking that. Like, Camilla's mother could be maybe awesome. Obviously, she sounds like a good person from that phone call, from what we know at least. But, oh, right. God, I wish that it was different. But maybe that is the best place. I don't know everyone's age, you know, and their capabilities, their financial situations. Like, yeah, that's just me jumping the gun. But, like, my heart makes me just wish he was with Tyrone's family so that they could be, like, raised by the same people that raised Tyrone, that made him so awesome in the first place.
I don't think that makes you a bad person. I honestly have a similar feeling. But like you said, we don't know the situation or the circumstance that led him to live with Camilla. We don't know if, like, Camilla's son sees her. Like, we have no idea. And who knows, really? But I don't think you're a bad person for thinking that.
Thank you. Because I'm also pretty sure that they're all still, to some capacity, involved in his life. So it's not like there's no communication.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure if they're all involved, it's a pleasant agreement. And I should just fucking chill with my emotions here, because obviously usually the court does a really good job of placing children where they need to be. So I gotta have faith in that.
No, totally. But it's like, that's the mother of the murderer. So you're like,
is that the best? Is it?
Is that the best? I get the hesitation. Yes. I really do.
So Camilla's mother, I'm sorry if you hear this, and I'm sure you are wonderful. Just, you know, murder. It's got me conflicted. Okay. I'm sorry. Surely you understand.
I totally get it.
Yeah. So.
Well, I will end with this because it's a good sentiment, is that Tyrone Jr. said that his hope for his grandson is that he just grows up knowing his father was a good man and that he loved him very dearly. So.
Damn, Bev. I am actually crying right now.
I get it. This case got me, man.
Wow. Is it like the holidays that are really getting us? But yeah, I hope he gets to know how great his dad was and like how much he loved him.
Yeah.
Man, you having a baby, I think, makes us a little more emotional about these like ones with children involved.
Oh, 100% it does, Becky.
Because, you know, Coulson's my baby too.
I know. I know. It's really tough. So anyways, before we start bawling and crying our eyes out, even more than we already have, I'll end it there. But yeah, thank you for listening.
Yes. Thanks for sharing.
And I love you hugely. And as always, we love you hugely. To everyone listening, and happy freaking New Year.
Happy freaking New Year.
Stay safe. And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.